Hope you're having a great day. It's another lovely sunny day in the UK. Beautiful sunshine out there. Today, I wanted to talk about something quite important, which is, do you actually enjoy your life? Do you enjoy what you do every day? Or is it just a habit, like how you spend your time? So, for example, you might have a habit where you have your work each day, and then straight after work you pour yourself a large drink, maybe a glass of wine or a beer, and then you sit down in front of the TV and then just flick through the channels or put on Netflix and just watch whatever's there. And then by the time you know it, it's the end of the evening, and then it's time to go to bed. And yes, the reason people do that is often to try and switch off their mind. So maybe you don't enjoy your job, so at the end of the day you just want to forget about it, and that's like an easy way to do that. That's the most common reason people actually watch TV, is to escape. And the same with going to the cinema. You see everything on a big screen, all the sounds and everything, and it totally takes you out of your life and all your thoughts and so-called problems, and then into a different person's life, basically. So it's a form of escapism, really, which is fine to do every now and then. When films they quite often give us important messages and things. But if you're just watching, for example, TV every night and kind of aimlessly, not really something necessarily that you've picked to watch, but something where it's just kind of an advertisement's been thrown at you and you think, yeah, I'll watch that. So you can ask yourself for these type of things, like, one, do I enjoy it? Do I actually enjoy spending my time doing that? Two, am I kind of developing in any way? Am I learning anything? Or is it just nonsense, really? And then three, is it kind of helping me at all? Is it giving me anything, like, to kind of help with my life? You can ask yourself those kind of questions. I think you might find, like most people, that actually spend quite a proportion of your days actually doing things that don't serve you, so things that don't benefit you, but are actually just habits that you've always done. And if you're interested in breaking any habits, it could be anything from drinking less alcohol, stopping smoking, eating less sugar, changing your diet in some other way, doing more exercise, watching less TV, anything like that, then please join my group, which is free to join. If you just go to Facebook, type in "Be Here Now," 3 words, "Be Here Now," and search in the group section, and then you'll see my group there. It's got my picture. Please join that, because that will give you lots of videos, all free, on how you can change habits, which is really useful. So I'm going to start kicking that off in the next couple of days. So what I really recommend is to try and be conscious of how you're spending your time. Like, is it just the same routine every day? And if it is, examine that routine and see, right, so from the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed, like, how am I actually spending my time? How many hours, for example, am I just kind of wasting, maybe watching Netflix or just scrolling through stuff online that it's not really even going in, you're just kind of aimlessly looking at things. And then you can kind of ask yourself, well, why am I doing that? Is it just to try and switch off? Or am I trying to look for something? Quite often it's like people are trying to seek something, but they don't know what they're looking for. And bizarrely enough, what you're actually looking for there is yourself, which might sound really strange, but it's because we've lost touch with who we are. And so we look for things externally. So if we understood who we are, which is this awareness, and we live from that place all the time, then we don't need to seek things out externally to make us feel good. We naturally feel ourselves, and then we don't need to seek. It doesn't mean we don't enjoy things externally and so on. We're not seeking all the time, and quite a lot of people spend their time, for example, on Facebook or other social media, and they're always trying to seek something, and I don't know what it is, but it is actually a sense of connection with yourself. So if you don't understand that, just let me know, because if you haven't experienced it, then it's hard to explain. But that's the common thing people do. So just let me know in the messages below, or send me a private message if you're not sure what that means. I understand if you're not sure. So the main point I'm trying to do with this video is, are you aware of how you spend your hours, like, every day? Or does it just pass you by, and you haven't enjoyed your time, you haven't really learned anything, and really it's just kind of been a waste of your time? So what I really recommend is write down, like have two lists. One list of like things that you actually enjoy, and things that you want to, maybe it could be goals that you're working towards. So maybe if you want to have your own business, then you've got certain things you want to do there. Maybe if you're into personal development, you want to better yourself all the time, you can write some stuff there. Or if it's to spend time with your children, you put that stuff there. So write a list of maybe 10 things that you kind of want to focus on. That's a good use of your time for whatever reasons. So one, maybe just enjoyment purposes. Two, maybe you're learning something. Three, maybe it's a duty, like something you need to do, like look after your kids. Whatever it is, just write down a list of things there of how you want to or should be spending your time. And then do another list of things that actually you might spend your time on that actually don't serve you, or they don't give you anything, that maybe they drain your energy. So there might be particular people that you always talk to, like old friends or whatever that you've known for a long time, and they probably form part of your sense of self because you've known them for so long. So you think, oh, this is my best friend, and that forms part of who I am. But maybe actually that relationship with that person doesn't really serve you anymore. So maybe they're taking their life in one direction and you are going the opposite direction. So maybe you don't want to spend so much time with that person. Maybe they just drain your energy. They're not helping you get to where you want to get to. So you consider maybe I don't need to spend so much time talking to that person. Or maybe it's just activities that you do. So as I mentioned, like Netflix, is there a way to actually get something out of that? So maybe there's some things where, you always enjoy a certain show, that's fine, and limit yourself to X amount of time rather than, for example, just wasting hours and hours kind of on something, just binge watching something. And also things like video games, you might, after work, instead of having a drink, maybe you just go through video games and just lose yourself from that. So when I say lose yourself, it means actually lose the thoughts that you're having. So quite people often want to just kind of switch off. Well, what are you switching off from? It's your mind and the continuous thought processes, that mind chat that just never shuts up. So that's what you want to switch off from, but you don't need to do it through those ways. There's a much better way, which means you don't kind of spend hours doing something that doesn't serve you. So the two lists then, so like the things that give you energy, the things that you want to do, the things that you want to focus on, maybe the things you need to focus on. Another list of things that actually just drain your energy, things you don't want to waste your time on, things that don't serve you. And then just try and have those lists somewhere that you're going to see them, so you can put them on a wall or something, or somewhere, and just make sure that you're conscious of how you spend your time. So during the day, just if you go and do something, just think, right, is this on the list that is going to serve me, or is this on the list that is actually just not really serving me at all and kind of wasting my time? So that's what I'd invite you to do, is just be conscious of how you spend your time. And quite often it's really good to categorize your life a bit. So for example, you can look at different categories, like relationships you have with people. So it could be your partner, could be friends, could be family. So there's that. How do you spend your time there? What kind of goals do you have around that? Do you want to spend less time talking to certain people, more time speaking to others, for example? What about your career? How much time and energy do you want to spend on that? Maybe you spend all your time there and maybe you don't want to, or maybe you need to spend more time on developing something yourself. What about your health and fitness? Do you make time for that every day? That's pretty critical, because if you don't have your health, then you don't really have anything else. And also spending time learning something each day. That's always something that you're interested in that kind of inspires you. That's really helpful. Also time looking at considering your emotions. So you might find that quite a lot of the time you're stressed, or a lot of the time you're really anxious or depressed. Well, maybe now's the time to try and fix that, so you don't spend hours of your week feeling like that. And actually it is quite a simple fix for these type of things. I work with a lot of people with anxiety, with depression, and with stress, and actually I'm amazed at how easy these things are to fix. Like, it's all based in the mind and your mindset, and what's that doing. People aren't aware that it's so easy to fix. So spend time kind of looking at emotions and thinking, maybe I need to, now it's finally time to kind of solve this stress issue that I have, where it's affecting my whole life. It's affecting, when I'm stressed, I shout at my partner and shout at the kids, and then it affects my whole family. So just really consider like what's going on each day for you. how are you spending your time, and like what's happening there. And then move towards things that serve you and away from things that don't serve you. And it could just be like micro adjustments each day. It doesn't have to be a huge change. It could be like, okay, usually I spend 3 hours per night on Netflix. I'm going to change it to 1 hour per night, and then the other 2 hours I'm going to do something which maybe helps my career, or maybe I'm learning something like really interesting about something that I'd like to know more about, or maybe it's speaking to someone that you want to speak to. So just be conscious of that, and don't just be such a creature of habit like we all are on autopilot a lot of the time, not even aware of what we're doing, just doing the same thing every day, which doesn't help you. And the more conscious or aware you become, the better your life will be, because you'll be in control and you won't just be dragged around by your habits, basically. So you'll be the one in the driver's seat who determines, this is how I spend my time. And then you'll become a different person from what you used to be. And you'll start realizing things about yourself and why you do certain things. So as I said before, you might be watching Netflix to just switch off from the day. You don't need to do that. You don't need to spend 3 hours of your life, like every night, doing that. There's actually far better ways to do that. These mindset shifts that I'm talking about. So as I said, if you want any more information about anything that I covered, then comment below, send me a message. I'd really love to hear from you and hear, does this make sense to you? Is it kind of a foreign idea? Are you conscious of how you're spending your time or not? Okay, have a lovely rest of your afternoon, and I'll speak to you all soon. All right, cheers guys.